Hello, this is Sebastiaan from Social Anxiety Solutions. I'm a social confidence coach and I help people with social anxiety feel relaxed and at ease in social situations so that you can relax, be yourself, have a good time, and enjoy socializing, have a good social life. And in this video, I'm going to answer a question again. So sometimes I get some questions under videos, and sometimes I get them sent to me. And this time I had a good one, and I thought, let me just answer that on video. So the question is, here we go. Hey Sebastiaan, can you make a video on how EFT could help with sweating problems? And I asked for some clarification. And then BD Coda says, for example, my problem is that I sweat when I am under people, around people, I presume. I'm kind of scared of having sweaty hands when I touch somebody or hold hands. And this is exactly what happens. Surprise, surprise, I start sweating. Is there a way to reduce this with EFT? Yeah, there is. Let me just first talk a little bit about the sweating. So the sweating is simply one of the symptoms. All right, so sweat breaking out is it can be grouped, or at least in my view of things, can be grouped into the list of symptoms that you get: heart racing, lump in your throat, tightness in your chest, tightness in your stomach, thoughts racing, pupils dilating, heat rushing to your face. Man, there are more, but this is just top of the head. These are very common. So sweating is just one of the symptoms, and I've worked with quite a bit of clients who have that symptom. Now, interestingly enough, not everyone has that symptom. You know, for some people, sweating is not a problem, and the other ones are. So in your case, you're just dealing with that particular symptom. Some people become really obsessed about the way their mouth looks, or or a variety of other things. I'm really expressive and clear in my communication today. Not so much. I haven't had much sleep. I'm a bit sick. So anyway, so it is a symptom in my book, but when you've experienced a particular symptom very much, you can become really obsessed with it. So just like a lot of people are obsessed with not becoming anxious and worried about people seeing them anxious. Oh, what if they see me anxious? A lot of people that sweat or blush, they get really obsessed about that particular symptom. So they feel really bad whenever the sweating comes up, and it's like, oh my God, what if they see me sweat? What if they notice it? And they probably notice it, and then they have all sorts of feelings about that and all sorts of judgments about it. It's like, oh man, if they see me sweat, they probably think I'm disgusting, and they probably think that, I can't hold my own, and I'm weak, and there's something wrong with me, and yada yada. And as a result, they also have, or you probably have all sorts of feelings about it as well. I'm ashamed that I have this. It's frustrating. Why can't I get rid of it? And all of these feelings and judgments on top of the problem, on top of the symptom, kind of lock the symptom in place. They make the symptom a lot worse, because now when you're in a social situation and you start to sweat, you're like, oh my God, here's the sweating. Oh, I'm such a loser. I'm so ashamed of it. I should hide it. Let me put my hands in my pocket, and I hope I don't have to shake anyone's hands, and I'm so afraid that they're seeing me sweat, and oh my God, I feel the drips running over my head, and my armpits are getting moist, and they can probably see, can anyone turn the temperature down in this room, please? Then all of that stuff is going on, and you're just blowing it up. You're blowing the problem out of proportion. And it makes a lot of sense. I get it. It's just not very helpful. And to answer your question, yes, you can do something about it with the tapping. And what you can do with the tapping is you can just focus on your feelings about it. So the shame, the embarrassment, the frustration, the fear that it will come. You just focus on that feeling in your body. So you think about sweating in a particular situation, you imagine being in that situation, and as you imagine being in that situation, you might imagine them looking at you and seeing you sweat. You might see their faces of disgust looking at you, and then you notice what your reaction is to imagining that, and then you just do the tapping on whatever your reaction is. So you might imagine being in a social situation, and you're starting to sweat, and they're seeing it, and they're looking at you with that look of disgust. Not that that ever really happens, or I'm willing to bet that is really rare. But anyway, it's in your imagination, so it feels really real to you. So when you're imagining that, you might feel, a feeling in the pit of your stomach, or you might feel a shame inside, in your face. Whatever it is, whether that's a feeling or emotion or a thought. Thought might be, I am disgusting, or, there's something wrong with me, or I'm a loser, whatever it is. Put your attention on the sensation or the feeling or the thought, and just aim your tapping. And you can either keep focusing on the feeling, the shame in my face, the shame in my face, and you can speak it. You don't need to. The speaking is just a way to keep yourself focused into the emotion. And just tap and just notice what happens. And likely it's going to decrease. And so that's one thing. You can focus on the feeling, or you can just focus on the thought. I'm such a loser for sweating. I'm such a loser for sweating. I'm such a loser for sweating. And you can either say the same thing over and over and over, or you can just describe whatever your internal talk is. For an example might be, I'm sweating like crazy. I shouldn't sweat. They probably think I'm an idiot. I'm such a loser for sweating. Blah, 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 blah. Either is fine. The tapping is a very forgiving technique. A lot of people think, oh, I gotta do it right, gotta say the right words, and focus on the right thing at the right time and never do it wrong. And you can do it wrong all the time, and you'll likely still get some results. The real magic with the tapping comes by aiming it at the right targets. That's when you can resolve your anxiety. But even if you don't know exactly the right targets, you can still play around with it and see what results you get by doing so. It's a very forgiving technique. And worst thing is it doesn't work because you're not addressing the problem properly. You're not aiming at the right targets properly. But just giving it a go will likely already give you some relief. Okay? So again, you can focus on the thought, you can focus on the feeling in the body. So say that when you imagine that scenario, they're looking at you with a feeling of disgust, and you do the tapping while you focus on their feeling of disgust, and you notice you have a tightness in your stomach. You can simply focus on the tightness in your stomach. You can either just close your eyes, if that helps you. You can keep your eyes open as well. Like I said, it's very forgiving. Whatever works for you. And just simply focus on the feeling in your stomach, or you can do the tapping and simply verbalize this feeling in my stomach, this tightness in my stomach, this feeling in my stomach, this tightness in my stomach, this tightness in my stomach. The words can take you away from focusing on the feeling in your stomach even. So sometimes it's better to just focus on the feeling in your stomach. All right, so that's what you can do, and that will kind of help you get to a place where you're more in acceptance of the symptoms showing up, and that will decrease how much of a problem it is for you. In fact, that will do a world of wonder if you actually do that. Now, the fact that the problem comes up, the fact that you have that blushing, and it is such a big thing for you, how to resolve that, now that's a whole bigger story, but basically the anxiety comes up because your system is perceiving a threat, right? There's a threat in your environment, and that threat might be, I might get rejected, or I might be made fun of, or I might say something stupid, or whatever. And that threat, you're perceiving that threat, and that perception is learned. You learned that somewhere in your past. Maybe when you were 12, you were beat up at the lockers, and that traumatic experience got locked inside your brain. Now whenever you're in a social situation, your subconscious mind that is always generalizing and distorting and deleting information, because you get so much information at the same time, so it has to distort, delete, and generalize. So it's generalizing this situation, and it is looking to your subconscious, just like the time when when you got beat up around the lockers, and it's saying, hey, this is a threat, careful, watch out. You're gonna experience that all over again, and it already gives you some of the feeling that you felt back then to kind of, you know, warn you, and then you get all the anxiety symptoms. So you want to go back to that experience, and that's just a small example. Usually people have various memories, and it's not just the memories, it's actually the repetitive negative experiences in early childhood. Relationship with your mom, relationship with your dad, that started the whole pattern of you not feeling safe to be yourself. And then, you know, the memories later on in life kind of strengthened those patterns that have been put in place. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happened. But anyway, guess what I'm trying to say is your ultimate outcome is you feeling safe to be yourself. And what's in the way of you feeling safe to be yourself is a perception of a threat. And the perception of a threat is learned, and it comes from past experiences and conditioning in early childhood. And you can decondition that, and you can get rid of the beliefs and shift the perception so that there's no longer a perception that you're in danger. And then you'll be relaxed and at ease. You know, if you feel at ease with some person in your life, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe your partner, maybe your child, maybe your dog, whatever, that's who you are. That's when you're relaxed. That's when you're you. You can feel that way around anyone. And it just takes a bit of work. And when I say a bit of work, for some people that's you know, a month of tapping. For other people, it might be a year of tapping. But once you start applying it, once you actually start doing it, instead of just watching the videos, you actually got to put it into practice, then you'll start getting the results. Now, if you want to put things into practice and you haven't already done so, get my free social confidence starter kit, and you can get that at my website at socialanxietysolutions.com, or you can click the link below this video. You'll then get a 12-part video series where I teach you the tapping, the basics of it, and I also guide you through a couple of experiences of it. I give you my 20-page ebook called How to Overcome Social Anxiety, which I've put a lot of thought into, which is proofread by my coach who helped me overcome my social anxiety. It is pretty awesome. And there's also my story, how I overcame my social anxiety completely. So it's a really cool package to get started, to get rid of your social anxiety completely. And one person emailed me already a while ago, said with just that stuff, he reduced 40% of his social anxiety. Imagine that, 40% of your social anxiety. How much better would your life be if you had 40% social anxiety? 40% social anxiety less. Yeah, I'm really a bit foggy-headed. Anyway, I'm gonna go get myself a cup of tea with some honey, and yes, hope that's been helpful for you. Thank you very much for your question. If you have a question as well, let me know. You can go to my website, socialanxietysolutions.com/contact, or leave a comment under the video. I see pretty much all of the comments. So thank you very much, and have an awesome week. Bye for now.